Let's do it here. Yes, guys. So today we have another success story. This is one that I'm super excited about. Someone who deserves it 100,000 times. Here I'm introducing you guys to Korede. He's just landed a role at Binance, and he's basically just going to break down his whole entire story, everything that he did to end up in position and basically share story. So, first of all, Korede, before we even get into anything, how are you feeling right now?
Nah, I feel good, you know. It's been a long time in the making. Like I've been unsure what I'm gonna be doing for a long time, you know. University, job market, everyone's saying CS is cooked, like you don't know what's gonna happen for you. But like to join a role of this size and this magnitude, bro, it's a blessing. Can't complain.
I think I think like one thing that I always like to ask people about is like getting into crypto and starting this journey. What actually made you want to get into the space? What's your background in the space? And even like your education levels, all that, tell that story so people know where you kind of came from.
Yeah, so like I really got into crypto, I'd say first year of sixth form, actually, funny enough. Remember like me and my boys were trading crypto on like Bybit exchange. Like we're trying to run up like $20 to like whatever we can. We're just like full porting our accounts, max leverage. I was just getting full ported all the time. So like that was my real first experience into crypto, like everyone else pretty much crypto trading. And then I feel like the shift really started when I go into university, and like the computer science course is very like web development heavy. And then I wasn't really messing with it. So I was really trying to look at what other avenues I could really go down. And like I remembered about crypto and I'm like, okay, cool. Like all of these exchanges, there's some devs behind it which are like building the protocols and infrastructures and whatnot. So like I wanted to actually like look into it and see what I could do within the space instead of just trading. So yeah, that's why I say uh, it really started to take off around end of second year university into my final year, which I am in like now. I say like towards the end of the second year, and that summer period is where I really like tried looking into crypto, especially like development and whatnot.
And so what is it that you do right now? You're in university, right? You're in your final year
Yeah,
and you're studying computer science, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Computer
What's
science.
your experience been in like your degree so far, like in terms of what you're learning in your computer science degree and like how that kind of shapes up to the rest of the market?
But like for my course in particular, I'll be honest, like it's very kind of easy. Like I don't feel like they go into depth and like what would you like typically need in like the outside world per se. For example, I'm studying computer science. For the most part, it's a lot of theory based, but there's no like they don't when it comes to like, the actual application and actually, you know, implementing the theory into real life practical, real life projects, like there's no real support for that, if that makes sense. So it's like cool, like you know how to program in Java, Python, whatnot, but like do you know things like Docker? Can you use GitHub properly? Like stuff like this is stuff that you really need to go and delve deep for yourself. For example, like even like basic like frameworks and packages that aren't really taught to you until like you actually do like self-reading, self-learning, etc.
100%. I 100% agree with that. I always tell people that I think at its current stage now, computer science is almost redundant, right? AI can do pretty much everything. And also in university, they just teach you the information, which like you can just ask AI like what something means. So it's not that relevant, doesn't teach you the practical experience. Like I said, packages, the actual real world utility and use cases, you don't even get like you barely get a scratch of that. So yeah, I think that kind of leads on to my next point because then I think it was a few months ago now, um, let's say like 3, 4 months ago, right? You reached out to me
Mm.
um to join my program. What made you actually like want to reach out and even decide that, like my program was right for you?
Yeah, so I'd say it really started towards the end of my second year, as I was saying before. I realized like web dev isn't something I'm really interested in. So I knew that over the summer holidays from second year to third year, I knew that I really had to try and find another niche I wanted to get into. And I've been looking at like crypto resources and information out there, but like none of them really suited me. Some of them were really good. For example, Cypher Updraft, as you may know, really good for like learning the basics and whatnot and building projects. And then what I found is that I had the information, but the projects I was building, they weren't real world projects, real world use cases. I was building like quite simple projects, right? And then I feel like I came across you on TikTok. I've been even way before this, I've seen you on TikTok, you and Dollar as well. Like you guys were running it up in the crypto space, the tech space in general. So I knew like at some point I was gonna reach out to you guys. And then when I was really deciding what I should start building to land an actual proper role in the space, I was like, yo, let me shout, mate, you like, you have experience, from Chainlink 3 years, which is like insane. You're like quite well known, you're well versed in the space. So it seemed like a no-brainer at the time.
100%. Yeah. And like, was there like any like doubts or anything that you had, like even, in enlisting in a program? Because like you said, there's a lot of resources out there for free. What is it that like makes you think, what, okay, I'm gonna invest into, having access to myself and like going through, what I basically pitched to you.
Yeah, yeah, because like, bro, this is like the first like ever sort of mentorship slash info product like I've ever got. So like, obviously for a minute, I've been skeptical about info and whatnot. I was like, yo, I don't really want to get scammed here. But like, also, I was in such a period of uncertainty that it felt like a time where I had to put my trust into something. And for you, like, there was a lot of certainty in what you're saying. Like, you can't fake 3 years of experience in the space. You can't fake, the projects you've been doing with like crypto security and whatnot. So I felt like, okay, look, if I really want to take this step forward, I have to take a risk. And like it was a risk that had to be taken. And it's a risk that paid off eventually.
Essentially, 100% the defo paid off. We're gonna get into that in a
Mm,
bit. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about Cool. Like, what was your experience? And this is where like I heavily have to big you up in terms of your approach, your mentality. But once you started on my program, right? So how it works is I give people roadmaps and then we
mm,
work to one together. So for you and like the way you came on straight away from literally day one, you were on it, right? And
mm.
I think like it's just a testament to show like when you put in the work and you use the resources, you get the value out of it to the max. But what was your experience in terms of like the roadmap that I laid out for you and the work that I had you doing at the beginning, in terms of the specific roadmap work?
Feel like, bro, like the roadmap is literally like invaluable. Like it gives you like a step-by-step structure on like how to actually approach something from like start to finish. I feel like for me, example, like figuring out what to do, I get so overwhelmed with like such a like a lot of information making me overwhelmed and leads me to not building anything. However, the roadmap allowed for me to have like clear projects that I could build with real like use cases. For example, like building projects using Prometheus, Granalpha, stuff like this, like some tools that I've never even heard of. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, this is serious. So I knew that, okay, look, week one I have to do this, week two I have to do that. It gave me a very structured and clear plan to like attack and follow, which is something I was good at. So that's why I was able to put in a lot of work because I knew what I was doing. I knew like where I was going with this, if that makes sense.
100%. I think that's the main idea behind it. And with you, like you flew through. I can't lie. So for a bit of context, I gave everyone like 3 month roadmaps to like start off with, and you basically did the whole 3 months in like what was it, like just over a month or if that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you
Like
flew through it. Yeah.
I feel like for sure, like a lot of it comes from like my background in computer science. Like I'm studying at university, like I know a couple coding language. So having to learn like a language like Go or like get in depth with like Solidity and whatnot wasn't really too difficult because I've had that prior experience. And also with like the use of like AI as well, like it's so much easier to learn efficiently, right? So I feel like that really played like a huge part as well. Not to mention like summer holiday, bro. I have so much time on my hand. Like I was doing this, I'll be honest. Like I just had to spare time.
No, 100%. I was even telling people this summer holiday is the best time to literally
Honestly.
land the role. I literally said this. I'm going to put a clip of it because I
Mm,
literally said summer holiday is the best time to learn the skills because then what happens is as you get closer to the end of the year, that's when the big hiring rounds happen. And
exactly.
you want to have the skills in the portfolio to show before that time comes rather than trying to
100%.
rush, which is exactly what it did for you. And
Mm.
you ended up landing a role at Binance, but you won't get there just yet.
Yeah.
One thing in between that also I want to bring up, right? And I think I want to get hear your thoughts, right? So part of what I do is obviously I work with projects and I give my people that work with me on my
Mm,
program exposure to these projects and um you actually because of your progress and because how quickly you went through it, I was actually I trusted you, but I was also able to bring you into
mm,
one of my client projects. just tell the people a bit about that and what that kind of experience was. And to be fair, I will preface, I said I did throw you a bit in the deep end on that project, but I feel
Mm.
like maybe it helped you, maybe it didn't. Or would
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Like honestly, when it came to like landing a role, like that's all the interviewers were like asking about, like, your time up, at that company,
Yeah,
like all the work you're doing for them. So it was crazy. As for like the work itself, I got thrown into the deep end. Like, I can't like for the first couple of days, I was generally shook. Like I was generally scared. But like over time, I'm able to ask questions. Like it was a very like supportive space, and I had very supportive people around me to ask for help, so or not. So it got easier over time. But at the beginning stage, yeah, for sure, like I was a bit nervous, I'll be honest. But honestly, like to be able to work on like real projects, like you're writing production code, what a month into like really getting started is like literally invaluable. As I was saying, like that was front and center on my CV, and it got a lot of love from recruiters and whatnot. So that's also another thing that I have to like obviously commend you on, right? Because one thing I realized, like you're not afraid to put people on, like you don't share, like you don't hide any alpha, like you just put people on straight away, which is something I mess with, something I respect a lot.
100%. That's what I'm trying to do, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad it
Mm.
was valuable for you. I'm glad I didn't stress you out too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what kind of so you said they brought it up in an interview stage, right? So now we're getting to Binance, right? So they brought up an interview stage. What like how was it helpful? Like what was it that they were asking you that like was beneficial in your kind of interview process?
So number one is like the work environment itself. For example, like something I noticed about the Web3 space is that it's very independent work. Like lots of people they're operating in your team is operating in different time zones. Like typically you're just given a task and then you're meant to complete it in your own time. If you want to ask questions, then feel free to, but there's no one like really holding your hand. For example, like compared to something like a in-office job or something, right? Remote role is very different. And for example, when I was working with you on that client project, it was the exact same thing. Like I had a task, I had to go away and do it for myself, and then I'd come back with the results. If I was stuck on anything, I could always ask questions. So like I was able to use that experience and like to inform them that yeah, like this is really me. Like I match with what you're looking for one to one. In terms of blockchain knowledge and whatnot, in general. Like, I remember one of the one of the guys, someone I work with, one of the tech ops guys I work with, he was like you're the only one that knows anything about the blockchain, which was crazy. Like what we're interviewing for a blockchain role, and like I'm the only person I was like, I think like 70 people applied that actually knew things about blockchain, which was actually something insane for me to hear at the time. And so like yeah, I'd say like that was pretty much invaluable stuff. Also stuff like that I was building, for example, caching, circuit breakers, retry logic, things like that, some technical stuff which really came in handy throughout the interviews. Just things I can touch upon and talk about confidently.
Yeah, having like there's a difference between building a personal project, which is good, right? But then
Mm,
taking it one step further and like understanding what is the difference between an MVP or personal project to a
yeah,
production ready code and having that experience so you know those small little things to talk about just makes all the difference. Hence why I always try and bring people on board with my projects because for me, I feel like that's the most valuable thing that I can bring. The material, the learning stuff. I would say like you mentioned before, Cypher and Updraft, right? You can learn all the basics,
mm,
build some projects, but there's nothing else out there that's gonna, get you that exposure. And especially now in tech where like you can't just apply without any prior experience.
yeah, exactly.
Your application process, they're asking you about prior experience, they're asking about
Mm,
these production stuff. So where do you get that level of
yes,
exposure? You don't really.
exactly.
But yeah, I think so. So now you've done the interview process, and also as you were going through that interview process, was there anything where like was there any like challenges or anything that you had?
Yo, I'll be honest, no, no, bro. Like that's something I have to say. Like because I've built so many projects like in the space, like interviews, like they didn't scare me like at all. Because before I got into Web3, I had a couple of interviews for like traditional tech companies, and like I remember I had like three interviews. I got none of them. I was so nervous, like I didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say. Like the projects I was building, I wasn't really confident like talking about them, etc. etc. However, when I come to Web3 first interview, like it just different level, bro. It was just so much better, so much easier. Just I don't know, it's just clear. Like Web3 is so clear.
Yeah. So what was Binance your first ever interview?
No. So I had an interview before that that was with a startup called
Okay.
Zero M Labs. That was a startup, but I wasn't really feeling that because I'll be honest, it was like one of those unpaid, equity promise like internships. I was like, nah, I'm good off that. But then I kind of used that experience for the Binance. For example, I had a technical interview, so I learned some of the questions that he was asking. I was able to implement that for my Binance interview.
Yeah, that's sick. So what second interview, yeah?
Yeah, second interview.
It's
And
not
then,
it's not
which
bad.
is crazy because I applied for two internships in the Web3 space and I got two interviews from those two, what's it called? So I was like two for two, which is crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's sick. And I think you made a good point as well, right? Because you spoke about how there were 70 applicants and they told you you were the only one with blockchain experience. So, and this is what I was trying to tell people, right? People think like blockchain is overcrowded. People ask me like, oh, is blockchain overcrowded? It's like if a role at Binance, by the way, which is the top crypto exchange in the whole space, if a role there has 70 applicants and only you were the one with blockchain experience, meaning that you were immediately off the bat like a standout candidate, that says something about the space. There's so much opportunity here, and like if you're looking at careers and you're still in university and you've got a career started at Binance, it kind of shows the level of the opportunity in the space. So yeah, I think that's one thing that people really need to understand. And all right, cool. So you've done the interview now and you've landed the role. Now it's the fun part. So what's it like working at Binance? Because I've got one alumni as part of Binance, my close friend is part of Binance as well. So now you're the second alumni in Binance. So,
Mm.
what does it feel like? And also, in fact, before we even get into the role, but like, what does it feel like on a personal level, like yourself, your family, like your friends, anything like that? Have you told people?
Yeah, like family and friends are like hella supportive. They're very nice about it, etc. Like for me personally, like it was like a level of happiness, lucky I've never felt. Because like for me, especially like coming to uni, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, especially as a computer science student. You're seeing like you're seeing your feed, people getting internships here, offers there, and I'm like, yo, like I might be cooked. Like coming off of second year, I've got nothing to my name. Coming into third year with nothing, and to be able to just like land Binance, something of that magnitude, very early on, like we're only in September, right? I mean, I landed this in around October, November times, was like so crazy for me. I was like very. I'll be honest, I was proud of myself for a minute, but at the same time, I know the job's not finished. We're looking for that return up or nothing less than a return. But like honestly, I was very stoked, very ecstatic with the news that I found out.
I would say like working there like on a technical level and like a not like corporate but like just work environment. What's it like?
I don't even feel like I can call it corporate. Like the environment is so chill, so friendly. It's like also it's remote as well. Like people, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's it's very like calm. They're very chill. You're given a task and like they tell you go away, do this. If you have any questions, like they're very supportive as well of you as well. To be working at something like Binance, I mean, some of the meetings, some of the things I'm hearing, the news I'm hearing, I'm like, yo, this is serious, serious work. There's levels to the game, and it just reinforces my mind like crypto is a very like bullish space right now. Like the future of crypto is very bright. People think, oh yeah, it's just a scam, it's going nowhere. But like when you actually like when you're inside, like when you're in internal teams, when you're talking and discussing, you realize like this is serious. Like crypto is very serious.
I definitely relate to that. When I was in Chainlink,
Mm.
like some of the meetings, like we were working with like Donald Trump and like World Libby Finance. I remember when
Crazy.
it first came in, and I was like, I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Mm,
It's mad. So I can only imagine Binance.
exactly.
You're like one step down from CZ, right?
Exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
So for you, like on a personal level now, so you're already in Binance, you're about to, you're in your third year of university. What would you say is like your North Star? Like what's your goals from here, like going forward within the crypto space, or do you want to stay in the crypto space, your career? Like how do you want to develop from here?
Yeah, I feel like if I'm being honest, like the crypto space is definitely my future. I'd like to think. I really want to continue working. I'm happy with where I am at Binance. God willing, hopefully, I could look to get that return offer. But at the same time, the type of guy I am, I just want to build. Like, if I'm being honest, like I just want to build whatever it is, projects, protocols, give me them. Like, I'll try and build them. Right. I'm currently focusing a bit more on like trading infrastructure. Because I've seen like trading is a very like big thing for some of these L1s recently. I remember if you look at BNB's 2026 roadmap, they're like focusing a lot more on trading. So that's something I want to get into. But like I say, like North Star towards the goal, like the goal is just like building out my own project, maybe pivoting to my own like agency where people come to me asking for help building things, etc., etc. And then one day, you never know, maybe my own startup. But yeah,
100%. Yeah, that's good. And like so far, like in on this journey, just to close off, like what would you say to someone who, might be in a similar position? Maybe they've graduated university and they're struggling, maybe they're in university and a bit lost. What would you say to someone as someone who's literally just fresh out of that exact situation?
someone that was in my situation, I say it sounds cliche, but you just have to go through it and you really have to put your head down. All it is, it takes one summer to like change everything. Like, not even summer. For me, it was like towards the end of summer, it's like 2 months. It just takes a month of solid hard work to really change your situation. People think it's going to take years. So they also something that people do a lot is that they overcomplicate things, they overthink. You just have to knuckle down and get to it. Like if you don't know where to go, I say stick to one thing that you actually want to do and just go for it. That's also something that's very important. Do what you want to do. Do something that makes you passionate. Like I remember people used to tell me do what you do what's passionate. I was like, nah, let me just chase the money. But like, bro, there's money everywhere, bro. Like do what's passionate, do what you love, and then it just makes it a lot more sustainable, in my opinion. So that's something I'd give to people.
Yeah, that's a sick point, actually. Yeah, it's very true because I think like when you're doing something that you have a genuine interest in, you have more energy to put towards it, right? Like the way I saw you working, as soon as you came in, someone who didn't really care about it or, wasn't really that interested, wouldn't have been able to put in that kind of effort. So, that's an amazing point. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm super happy to see
Appreciate it, man.
Binance. I think like 100% you deserve it like 1,000 times over because you really worked for it and you haggled me down. Even like we even
Mm.
changed the roadmap a bit, to keep it
Yeah,
more like,
exactly. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So like you knew
Yeah.
what you wanted, you came and you got it. So I'm super happy
Mm.
to hear that. And Binance is like one of the best stamps, in fact, the best
Yeah.
stamp that you can
Yeah,
have
exactly.
in crypto. So I think yeah, you've got a bright future ahead of you and just keep going. And I'm always gonna be checking in. So yeah, we'll just
Appreciate
stay
it, man.
locked in and yeah, man, I think just for other people who are, just want to embark on this kind of journey, you can enlist in the program as well, and I can create a roadmap for you. And if it's the right fit, you can enroll. Would you say that? Well, I mean, you're in Binance, but just yeah, so would you say that you got the value out of what you put into it compared to how you've come out?
100%. I mean, like, is that even a question?
Yeah,
100%. Like, no doubt in my mind. Like, I do this 100 times over. I'll be wrong.
it's good to
100%.
hear. So yeah, guys, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys in the next one, babe.